Welcome to No Man's Land, a 2 to 6 player run and gun race to the finish, where players use the resources given to them to force their way to victory, leaving their enemies in their wake. With the hexagonal board, players are allowed to roam the entire board as if it's an actual battleground. Players roll a single die for movement and make their way across the board while gaining weapons and equipment and taking out their opponents in search of the flag for victory. Only then can they cross the finish line. As you can see here, each player is given a mat to represent their inventory. There is a photo of their character with their piece color for representation, and a space for primary, secondary, equipment, wildcard, and a personal discard pile. Equipment is kept secret while equipped. While having an inventory, players can also hold their cards in their hand until they feel like equipping them. They do have to be careful though, as there is a hand limit of 3 cards. On the board, there are 4 different types of spaces. Blank spaces, which are used just for movement, border spaces, which are impassable without the proper equipment, weapon spaces, and equipment spaces. Weapon spaces are marked with the pink icon, and the equipment spaces are marked with the blue icon. While those border spaces can get in the way a lot, there are ways to get around them. Some items such as frag grenades, stun grenades, and joker missiles can ignore border spaces as they would be thrown or launched over them. Or for movement purposes, the breaching charge can destroy a single border space, and the rope allows for a player to climb over a border as wide as 3 spaces if their movement can go through without stopping in the middle of the border. Combat can only be engaged on a player's turn if they have a weapon, either primary or secondary, equipped and are within the weapon's range limits. Players then roll a single die and add or subtract any damages necessary from items in their inventory. On screen, player 1 rolled a 6 with an FAL in their inventory, adding 2 damage, totaling 8. Player 2 rolled a 1 with nothing in their inventory to reduce damage. Player 2 took 7 damage, exceeding their health limit of 6, and died. When a player dies, they lose all the items in their inventory but get to keep the items in their hand. The items in their inventory are dropped and marked with a marker. The player is then forced to move 6 spaces towards the start. Any player that lands on the marked space can look to the drop items and take what they wish.